It was a calm, ordinary day in the Strait of Malacca. American and British merchant ships sailed peacefully along their routes. Everything seemed perfectly normal until their radios crackled to life with a strange signal. The signal was in Morse code. Now, for those who don't know, Morse code is an old-school communication method, but it's incredibly reliable, much more so than voice messages. Transmitting audio over the radio is tricky. Things like distance, fog, dust, and humidity can distort or weaken the signal. Morse code, with its simple dots and dashes, can travel thousands of kilometers through all that interference and still be decoded perfectly. That day, the ships received a message that started with 3 dots, 3 dashes, and 3 dots repeated twice. That's the Universal Distress Signal, SOS. The full message was from a steamship called the SS Urang Medan, and it was a desperate plea for a ship's doctor. Soon after, a second message came through. Probably the second officer is dead. Other crew members are also dead. Do not give medical advice. Request urgent assistance from a military ship. Then, the ship sent its position coordinates, followed by a final, chillingly incomplete message. I die. After that, there was only silence. The other ships tried to respond, hailing the Urang Medan again and again, but there was no reply. It was clear that something terrible had happened. The closest vessel, an American merchant ship named the Silver Star, immediately changed course and sped towards the last known location of the ghost ship. After several hours, the crew of the Silver Star spotted it. The SS Urang Medan was floating on the water, looking completely intact. There was no visible damage, no signs of it taking on water, but something was very wrong. Despite being a steamship, no smoke came from its funnels. The entire deck was eerily still. The Silver Star's crew tried to get a response, blasting their horns and shouting through loudspeakers, but the only answer was the sound of the waves. Finally, a rescue team was assembled and boarded the silent vessel. The moment they stepped onto the deck, they felt it. The air was cold, and the silence was heavy, almost suffocating. And then they saw them. Bodies were scattered everywhere. The entire crew lay dead, their faces frozen in expressions of pure terror. Their bodies were rigid, and their arms were stretched out as if they were trying to fend off some unseen attacker. Even the ship's dog was dead, its body contorted into a stiff, unnatural snarl. What was truly bizarre was that none of the bodies had any wounds, scratches, or any sign of a struggle. It was as if they had been scared to death. The rescue team made their way to the radio room. There, they found the operator who had sent the Morse code messages. He was slumped over his equipment, his fingers still resting on the telegraph key, frozen at the very moment he sent his final message. I die. It was obvious that something deeply unnatural had occurred on this ship. The captain of the Silver Star decided the only course of action was to tow the Urang Medan to the nearest port for a proper investigation. A tow line was attached, and they began to paw the ghost ship. But the mystery was far from over. Suddenly, smoke began to pour out from cargo hold number 4. The smoke quickly turned into a raging fire that spread across the ship with terrifying speed. The rescue team had no choice but to cut the tow line and retreat to a safe distance. Moments later, a massive explosion ripped the SS Urang Medan apart. The blast was so powerful it sent debris flying high into the air. The ship, with all its secrets and its terrified, silent crew, sank beneath the waves to the bottom of the ocean. It vanished completely, leaving behind no evidence, only the haunting testimony of the Silver Star's crew. Naturally, the story of the Urang Medan was met with skepticism. Some people dismissed it as a sailor's tall tale, a ghost story made up over drinks. Researchers pointed out that a ship named SS Urang Medan was never officially listed in the Lloyd S. Shipping Register, a comprehensive record of all merchant ships. However, it's important to remember that after World War II, the shipping world was chaotic. Many vessels operated under fake names or were simply unregistered. So it's entirely possible the Urang Medan was one of them. The story refused to die. In 1954, Dutch newspapers published a detailed account of the incident, which included interviews with former crew members of the Silver Star. They stood by their story. Some even claimed to have heard rumors that the Urang Medan was a smuggler's ship used to transport illegal goods under the radar. But with no ship and no official records, tracing the owner was impossible. The mystery deepened in 2003 when the CIA declassified a batch of secret files. Among them was a letter from 1958. The letter suggested that solving the puzzle of the SS Urang Medan might hold the key to explaining other mysterious disappearances of planes and ships in the area. This hint from the CIA suggested there was more to the story than just a simple maritime accident. So, what really happened? The most widely accepted scientific theory is that the ship was carrying a cargo of dangerous and unstable chemicals, possibly leftovers from the war. Chemicals like potassium cyanide or nitroglycerin. If salt water had leaked into the cargo hold and reacted with these substances, it could have released a cloud of deadly, suffocating gas. This would explain why the crew died so quickly without any visible injuries, and why their faces were locked in horror as they fought for their last breath. The subsequent explosion could have been caused by the unstable nitroglycerin. But there are other, more sinister theories. One suggests the ship was secretly transporting biological weapons developed by Japan's infamous Unit 731. The eerie cold on board, the dog's frozen posture, and the sheer terror on the crew's faces could point to something far more horrifying than a simple chemical leak. Could they have been exposed to a nerve agent or some other experimental weapon? Today, the wreck of the SS Urang Medan remains lost in the depths of the ocean. Its story has become a legend, a chilling reminder that no matter how much we advance, some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. It shows us that the sea can keep its secrets, and that sometimes the most terrifying things are those we cannot see or explain. If you found this story as fascinating and mysterious as we did, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from the unknown, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.